Hey guys, welcome to the Movie Podium. In this episode, we continue our Movie Podium with Friends series with one of the most intense movies that we've probably done on our podcast. And without further ado, we present our next movie.
This is me. This is how I win.
I'm your host, Matt Scott, and I'm here with my dudes, Eric.
Hello.
Cooking with Kevin.
There. Hey.
That's the short version.
The short version.
And our guest of the evening, Mr. Eddie Yellin of Yellin Films. How's it going, Eddie?
It's going great. How are you guys?
Good. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Round of applause. Round of applause. I'm sorry for what you're about to get into with us.
No, look, I'm already enjoying myself.
Well, we've been following your film-making aspirations since you released Pickle, about a year ago?
That was like a year and a couple months. That was September 2023, so that was technically, wow, it's 2025 now. That's crazy.
That is crazy. And that was filmed in Tucson? Is that correct?
That was filmed in Tucson, Arizona.
Cool.
That was because I went to school at University of Arizona for a year.
No way. Okay.
Well, yeah, I went there for a year, and so that's why it was filmed there and not here. Exactly.
Okay. And
where is here? Yeah.
Yeah.
I just realized, I'm not, you guys have no idea where I am. I could be anywhere. I am in
this room.
Yeah, exactly.
Manhattan.
I'm in New York City, Upper West Side in Manhattan now. So I'm kind of, this is where I've lived all my life.
Okay.
And I've had a very interesting college experience. And I went to University of Arizona for a year, and I can only stand really for a year. I went a little crazy, guys.
Yeah.
So, you have to understand, you grow up in the city all your life, and then you go out to the desert. It is beautiful there, though. It is really, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Arizona.
No, I actually do have a tie. So my grandpa, which over here, the license plate says Roger. He actually went to University of Arizona way back in the day, but he graduated from there years ago. And so my family's always had a love for Tucson. We're all from Ohio, though, actually.
Yeah.
Kevin and I down here went to Ohio University, which when we went there, it was the #1 party school. And so our college experience was pretty ridiculous, too.
Wow.
From a different aspect, but that's interesting.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. So what we usually do when we have guests on, we have them pick a couple different movies. And then from there, they give those to us, and then we pick what movie out of that handful. You picked Uncut Gems. Can you tell us why and what stands out for you about this film?
Oh, what stands out? I remember my dad somehow got tickets for us to see an early screening, like AMC, the AMC Lincoln Square by us does sometimes we do early screenings of certain movies coming out, and this was an A24, not super big movie. Mm-hmm. Fun fact, the Lincoln Square right by my house has the biggest IMAX screen in the country, which is a good and a bad thing, because whenever, for the Interstellar re-release a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
Completely, I swear to God, it was completely sold out, even the fucking wheelchair spots for the first 7 days. I went and saw, we re-released Tenet there in 70 millimeter. I saw that a year ago. I swear to God, there were 2 guys standing in wheelchair spots in the first.
Crazy.
People are, look, they're determined fans, Anyways, and I remember I watched the trailer of Uncut Gems, and I was like, wait a minute, this is Adam Sandler? This is before seeing it, I remember finished the trailer, and I think to myself, this is going to be a bad movie. I just feel like Adam's, because I'm used to Adam Sandler, Happy Gilmore, going and he's Adam Sandler.
Yep.
I can't take Adam Sandler seriously, and
Yeah.
he's like, I'm watching this trailer, and he's like a jewelry thief or something about. Like, I don't know exactly what it is, but I just feel like it's going to be like that Jim Carrey movie directed by Joel Schumacher. You know what I'm talking about? It's like called
The Truman Show.
No. That's an incredible movie. No. This movie it's called like The Number Something. I've never seen it.
23. The number 23. Horrible movie.
Yeah, but I was just worried it was going to be like a shtick like that,
Sure.
But I swear, and I saw, and I'm assuming all you guys have seen Uncut Gems, right?
Oh,
This was my first time.
Oh, that was
Yes.
Damn, that's awesome.
Wow. So
this was my first time as well, so it was a ride.
Dang.
Really?
Okay.
I remember I sat down in the theater, and for about, I forget the exact run time of the film. It's like 2 hours, 10 minutes,
Yeah.
something like that. I was legitimately worried about my physical health. I mean, because I get very into movies, but this was like, when you say a movie's scary, like I feel like a lot of people say, "Oh, that's movie scary," like that jump. When I tell someone a movie that's really scary, like really horrifying, I think of Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
I think it's not just stress. It's because there's this very real quality to it where it really feels like this isn't really a movie. It's almost like a documentary. Like they sent these camera people to film this real guy and like the shit he does, and his life is just this.
He's just digging a deeper hole.
Yeah.
And we all know what happens at the end, but when that happened at the end, that's one of the only times in my whole life I can remember being in a theater where you could like hear the people in the concessions out.
I can't imagine.
It was completely silent. And then even in the credits, people weren't even talking. Everyone was just shocked.
Yeah, it is a big shock. I mean, really. I mean, so Eric and Kevin, you guys hadn't seen it before. How shocked were you?
I was not shocked. I knew it was going to come to that because
Really?
I was just waiting for it to happen the whole fucking movie, though. Like
That's fair.
I didn't know exactly how it was going to go down, but I was like, this guy, he's going to get killed.
I thought that, I mean, when there's that crazy sequence where it's really, I don't know how they shot that, but it's when they throw him into the river.
Yes.
Yes.
The goons, or whatever you want to call them, the two, guys that they dump him in the river. I mean, I don't know. I thought that worst case scenario, maybe his wife or his ex-wife gets roughed up, or I just felt like the whole film, it felt like he was basically dying. That like,
I know. Yeah, for sure.
The great thing about it is that the guy, Phil, that's the guy's name. I can mention this later, but fun fact, he's actually unofficially agreed to be in this movie I'm making.
No way.
I just DM'd him about like a year ago. I just DM'd him on Instagram, and I was just, fuck it. I'm just going to DM William Richards who's actually, I've learned a lot about him through another actor that I know who's working on something with him, but he's a really interesting guy and an amazing actor. But fun fact, and I'm sure you guys know this, but he's now like a professional actor. Like Uncut Gems is technically his first ever. He was approached on the street.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Literally walking down the street, and a producer, A24, came up to him and was like, do you want to be in like a movie? Like, you have a great face. We want you to audition for a role. Because he has this really scary demeanor, and his
100%
great voice. But anyways, there's a moment at the beginning of the film, which if you rewatch it, you'll see what I'm talking about. They basically foreshadow that, what's going to happen at the end when he's, I think it's like, there's the two young guys. They're like the two twins that kind of look like Albert Einstein. Those weird.
Yeah.
The lower end bookies.
Yeah. They're like, my money now, all that.
Yeah.
And he gets into Howard's arguing with the Phil guy. And as the Phil guy is walking back to the elevator, he turns around and he goes, "You're fucking dead. You're fucking dead." And literally, that happens. He says at the very beginning of the film, and the next time they're both in that like same area. You know, so it's just it's crazy.
That's where I was like, oh, he's gonna die in this movie. Again, I was just like,
intense.
From there, I was like, that guy's not messing around.
So from here, we usually do some random ass facts. Sometimes they're useful, and sometimes we find out things like the tornado sound in Twister was a camel moaning, slowed down.
What?
Yeah.
No, you heard that right.
Yeah, camel moaning, and it slowed down. That's the noise of Twister.
That's true?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tornado sound in Twister. So we recently did Twister on our last podcast.
Yeah.
Found that out.
A camel moaning. Slow down? That's just, what? Really?
I know.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Can't unhear it after knowing that.
Yeah.
Right. Now you gotta
we
go
thought the
watch
same
Twister.
thing.
No, I've never actually seen Twister, so now, I mean, I've seen
It's good.
but now I'm really like engaged to see it. I'm way more interested now that I've
It's
heard
good. It's a lot
Listen
better
to
than
the Twisters.
it. No, I'm going to be hyper fixated on that. Are you kidding me?
I have an intro for the random ass facts now.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Yeah.
nice. All right.
So hit it.
So our first random ass fact that we usually do is we come up with we've came up with a scale, and it's the Thor scale. So Thor, the movie, is a 7.0 on IMDb, which we kind of find ludicrous, and it's a pretty mediocre movie. And so we like to compare movies to Thor. So in this case, Uncut Gems got a 7.4 on IMDb, or a Thor.4.
4.4.
So
That's
pretty.
That's up there.
Pretty good.
Thor has a 7?
yeah.
7. No shit.
If you can believe it or not.
We couldn't, so we thought, well, let's make a scale, like a Kelvin scale or something.
People are so damn stupid. That's just.
I know.
I like you already.
It's not great. I mean, so we were very surprised, and so ever since we did that movie for our podcast, we've used that as our barrier to entry. So this was better, which of course I actually think 7.4 is kind of low.
Yeah, I would go higher.
Think about Uncut. I mean, I would give Uncut Gems a 9. I mean, this is one of the few movies. I mean, on my letterbox, I don't have a whole lot of movies rated at 5. This is one of the very few movies I have that's 5 stars. And it wasn't always a 5. It was a 4.5 first time I saw it, then it was a 5. But the problem with Uncut Gems, it's not a universal movie. It's a movie made.
You're right.
It's impossible. It would never have above an 8, honest, because so
That's
many
it.
people they don't get it. You know, a lot of people think it's just have told me, oh, it's just yelling. It's just people yelling and the guy's yelling and then he gets shot at the end. People don't. It's like people just they're so impulsive. Like they see like yelling and they just oh, the whole movie's yelling and nothing else happening.
Yeah.
These are the same.
I have a feeling you and Kevin are
masterpiece. So it's like, what are you talking about? You know?
Agreed. Yeah, I think you and Kevin are on the same page for a lot of this. We'll find out, but that sounds that's like Kevin's answer, I think, too.
No.
So let's get into some more random ass facts. Adam Sandler's average base salary is typically around $20 million. This whole budget was $19 million.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a reason why they had this movie in development for like 10 years. I mean, you guys know the story that the Safdie Brothers went to him. They had a full script. The reason that it's in that it takes place in the early 2000s is because that's when they started writing it.
Yeah. Yep.
They got in touch with him, went to him with the full script, and allegedly, Adam Sandler read it and was like, "This has to be better." Which I think, honestly, looking back on, I think it probably could have been better. I think he was partially just bullshitting and procrastinating because he didn't want to do a serious role yet. He didn't feel like it's not good enough. Just make it better, and which I guess was smart. But it's like, because have you ever seen an Adam Sandler movie like this? What's this?
Yeah. So there's Rain Over Me was one where he's a homeless man, which I mean it's not great, but like he's a homeless man and he runs into an ex-college roommate and it's kind of sad. There's also Punch Drunk Love is
Right.
another. That's a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, and so it's decent, but nothing like this. I mean, in my opinion, there's some serious movies, but this is at an intensity level that he was never at before, and I don't think he's ever going to hit again.
This is pretty up there.
So the next fact is, and this shouldn't come as a surprise, the word fuck is used 560 times, the fourth highest in film history, only after SwearNet, whatever that is, fuck, a documentary on the word fuck, and The Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall
I
Street.
had that same one down. The average in this movie, the word fuck 4 times per minute for the length of this movie.
That's a lot of fucks.
I mean, when you hear it, I mean, it just becomes second nature as you're listening. Like you stop registering as you hear it.
That's part of the beauty of it. They
I
have
agree.
to reel it in as much as possible, because it almost reached a point where it's like you're almost tired of hearing it, but you can't help but like love every time you, because it's like driving you so crazy. That's part of the engagement. And also it's not just like, you know, these guys running in a battlefield and they're like, we gotta fucking go. It's these crazy like old, like half of them are like these old Jewish guys running around and screaming like, where's my fucking money, Howard? You know, that's so engaging to me. It's so engaging.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely. All right, we got 3 more on my list. So Kevin Garnett had no idea that he broke the jewelry case. They rigged that up and did not tell him. So his reaction was unique. Like, he had no idea. So they kept that element of surprise in there. They did not tell Kevin Garnett about it.
You saw it. You could see it on his face. You could see like,
for sure,
like he had like a real.
He
like
jumped back and I love when directors do that, especially to someone like Kevin Garnett. Like, to have the balls to do that, like, so cool.
Wow.
2 more. The official poster, if you've seen the poster, he's kind of pointing at his cheek. Well, that's kind of a foreshadow when, you know, he'll be shot, or where he'll be shot at.
Oh my God! Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So
I never realized that.
Me
How am I never
neither.
realized that?
Isn't that wild? I mean, because he's kind of holding that. It's the same exact area he gets shot at. Yeah.
How the hell have I not?
Isn't that wild?
Learn something new every day.
I don't think a lot of people. I think that's.
No, I don't think so either.
How did you find that out?
I was just reading up on. I was researching it and found that one. I was like, "Whoa, that's crazy! Didn't realize that." All right,
That's crazy.
let's get into some questions.
Let's do it.
Y'all ready? All right, first question.
All right.
Da-na-na. Favorite thing about the movie? All right, Eddie. What was your favorite thing about the movie?
That's kind of an impossible question.
I know.
I could say it's not like my standout best thing in the movie. It's my favorite thing, I guess, because it's like what I really like. One thing I really love about this movie is the opening. And I know a lot of people that disagree because they. I guess people can make the argument that it's like a little disconnected, but I think I really like the opening because it's, you know, I love when a film begins when it has a sort of cold open. Like in this case, you know, we open up and it's funny. The opening scene, the opening shot. You guys ever seen the Safdie Brothers have another film called Good Time? You ever seen Good Time?
No, we were just talking about it. No,
I'm
I
not
haven't
just
seen
about
it.
Good Time. You guys got to go watch it after we record.
Yeah,
this. You'll really like it.
I want to see how it compares to this. I want to see how they.
I know people that think it's better. I don't think it's better, but it's
okay.
It's a really good movie. But anyways, it's like it's a similar opening in that sort. What the shot, I guess, but Uncut Gems like opens up and you see these. It's like, where does it say it takes place? Like it's like Egypt or not Egypt? Like it's
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia, yeah.
So it's like, okay, so we open up in Ethiopia, and we see these like guys running around some sort of like underground mine, and they find this like, is it like a crystal? What's going on?
Yeah.
And all this crazy, and then next thing you know, we see into the opal, and then this guy gets colonoscopy. You're just of like, what the fuck is going on?
What a transition.
I remember, like,
Yeah.
I remember in the theater. I remember turning to people around me, and just like everyone was just like had the same expression of like just like the fuck.
What are we gonna watch here?
Well, like, not even like beyond that, just like what, like, are we being fucked with? Like, what? The thing about there was something about the opening scene that made the whole rest of the film scary, because if you think about it, I found myself thinking, you really never. This is the kind of movie that honestly, if 3/4 way through a spaceship showed up and it turned out that he was an interdimensional alien from a fourth, I wouldn't have been surprised, because the way they set the film's tone is right off the beginning. They set this specific ground, almost like a ground rule, basically telling the audience, like, listen, guys, you don't know what you're watching. It's fascinating because if you think about it, like, it doesn't have as much of like a linear plot structure as like,
Sure.
Interstellar, certain, spectacles like that. But there's this level of engagement because they're basically telling you, look, this is our guy. This is the guy you're going to be watching
The whole time.
his life.
Yep.
But what we're going to do is put a certain spin on this. What I feel like a lot of movies do in terms of like exposition is a lot of movies, they'll have the main character, a guy or a girl, they go through some sort of like turmoil and stuff, right? And then they go through more, but the rest of it's off screen. Because it's like once it happens the first time,
point.
then
That's
the
a
rest
really
of it
good
happens
point.
off screen. But Uncut Gems is like, we're just going to show you everything.
Yeah, his whole life.
Every single horrible, annoying thing that happens to this guy till you
Yep.
go as crazy as he is. And that's why it's so engaging, because and also it's like you feel bad because there are people like that guy. And if you guys have ever been to that whole, jewelry area of downtown in New York City, they use real people in Uncut Gems. Like, I went there to get my watch fixed years ago. A lot of those are what those people are like.
That's how they're. Yeah.
They're
when he
wired goes to the old guy, then the old guy's looking at it, and he's like, "I'll give you $350. You come in, I'll be Howard." Those are what those people are like. They all look at you like with the eyes like that, and so they nailed that, and that's why it's such a scary movie, because it was so real.
Yeah.
It was so
Agreed.
real.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Agree.
Yeah. Kevin, what about you?
Mine's a little bit more basic, but it's also something I think Eddie likes that he thought people don't like, is the chaos and the dialogue in the movie. With all the yelling over top of each other, it gets so chaotic, but it's necessary for the movie, and it just wouldn't be the same without it.
Yeah, absolutely agreed.
That's pretty much all I got there.
No, I agree. The dialogue is solid for sure. It does move the movie in a way where you're just like you're saying, like, just on the edge of your seat. Eric, what about you?
I said the way it looked. Like, I kind of got struck by like the use of color, especially in his apartment.
Yes.
And a few other areas in the movie, and it just like it looked really cool to me.
Yeah.
They shot this on film. This is
okay. I was gonna say it had
it's not shot on digital. It's shot on film.
I
That
thought
makes
it
a lot of sense.
like there's
It was
one
35
specific
millimeter,
scene. Okay, there's one specific scene where he's like walking in front of like a marquee, and like you can see like the film grain in it.
Yeah,
and like just the softness of the image. It's really good.
Yeah, I love the way this movie sounds and looks. So I got two things I want to talk about. Surface level wise, I'm a basketball nut. So getting KG to be on there is pretty fun. I think he did a great job. He highlighted the stressfulness, and he plays into it pretty well. Like, he's real. He's not like when LeBron gets on a movie, like whatever, the one with Amy Schumer, and it's forced.
Space Jam.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's forced, right? Like, you can tell he's just memorizing lines and he's spitting those lines out, right? Kevin Garnett does not feel that way at all. Like, that's just who he is. That's just how he talks. And I don't even know if any of that was scripted. Like the way again,
a lot of it, I
the
think, was
reaction wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I think he did a great job as an athlete. Like he's not trying to pretend to be an actor. He's just an athlete, naturally able to convey like what it would be like to have an athlete on there. Deeper wise though, I think that this is such a crazy depiction of humanity. Like there's no glorification. The dude's by all means somebody you shouldn't root for. This guy sucks. Like in real life, like I mean his life sucks. He's a shitty person. Like you don't want to root for him, but at the same time, sometimes you are. Like you're rooting for that final gamble. Like you're like, come on, he's got to win this. Like save your life. Like don't lose this bet. So like at its core, the film just reflects the humanity's relentless desire. And I just think that like
addiction.
Well, it's just real. Like he's looking for more success. He's looking for more validation, more risk. Like he can't stop. And it's so true for so many people that we know or are friends with. Like it's so real.
It's addiction.
Exactly. Also the soundtrack's amazing. The like 80s vibe, the spaciness of it. It again, it goes along with that film grade stuff. Like it sounds and looks real.
Yeah.
Next, least favorite thing about the movie. All right, Eddie, back to you.
Least favorite thing, least.
Yeah.
That's hard. See, the problem on a lot of movies, I can answer this right away. There's definitely like, no movie's 100% perfect. This does come close. I have to say one of my least favorite things about the movie, I feel like just slightly they should have explored his relationship with his wife a little bit more. I feel like the wife kind of had more of an important role than, obviously she wasn't like a central character, but I think like because he has this whole other life. At the beginning of the film, all we know is he's getting a colonoscopy, and then he's with this girl, this woman in bed. So like, okay, is this like his girlfriend? But wait a minute, he has a whole other fucking thing. Oh, so wait a minute. So it's like, we saw some of it with the kids, and there was that great scene where he's standing, he has that talk with her.
And she's got the dress on, her bar mitzvah dress.
He's like, come on, give me another shot. Come on.
Oh, I know. You want more of that.
He's like, Howard, I fucking despise. I forget what she says, but I feel like I just wish they went a little bit more into like their whole shtick.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Feel like it felt like obviously he did not treat her the best, but it felt too much like whenever she was on screen, she was just like ridiculing him. And I know like the whole point that that's what's happening in the movie, but I just think if they showed like a little bit more behind their relationship, just a glimpse, not a flashback, just a little bit more, it would, instead of like feeling like, oh, this woman's yelling at him, you'd be like, oh man, so that's why. Okay. That's my one little thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. A glimpse of like maybe that they did get along at some point. Like, why are they still together? And I know why. I mean, they kind of allude to it, but I do agree. Like, why are they still doing this song and dance? Like, I thought maybe during that scene when she had that dress on and he's looking at her, and you're thinking maybe she's gonna say something like not cute, but like at least allude to the fact that they were in love at some point. Like I thought maybe there'd be a glimpse of that. Like you just want to see why they were together at any point in time at that exact moment, and she just shit on him instead.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay,
I was rooting for her in that moment.
I know. But it's like just maybe like a joke of it. I don't know. They didn't do any of that. So I was thinking the same thing on that for sure. Kevin, what was your least favorite thing?
Real quick, John is in the queue.
See that?
So
What
he
should we
was
do with John.
Should we bring him on?
Oh my God! So we have
He's in the
so
dark.
as I mentioned, we have 6 guys, and one guy was supposed to be on, but his power went out. He's literally watching the movie, and his power went out, so he's in the dark.
So here's John.
Oh my God! Hi, John. Hello, John. Can you hear us?
He's on a delay.
Hello.
He's
I
on
was
a
just actually typing
Oh
that
God!
my phone. Oh, I'm always delayed. Through my phone is a hotspot right now, and I don't think it's gonna work because I keep losing you guys as you're talking.
That's
Yeah,
all
I'm
right.
sorry,
Well,
John.
Hello,
It's probably
John.
not going to work.
Goodbye, John. I hope your power comes back on, though. That sucks.
Hello, John.
Don't be such a delay.
Bye, John.
Oh my God! So he was in the middle. No kid, no joke. He was in the middle of the. Or no, he was at the end of the movie, right?
hold on.
Like
What the fuck just happened? So this man, this entity, John.
Yes, John. Hello, John.
and he's gone.
No, I just so random how this guy just fucking shows up and he's like, does he have like a blanket over? I don't know. He's in the middle of the dark room.
He was
And
just
all-
being lit by his laptop because all of his
my
power
God.
went
He's
out. So he's just
hotspotting
sitting
on
in
his
front of his
phone.
laptop.
That's like a David Lynch scene right there. Like this random guy
It
shows
really
up
is.
and says he's on a hot spot and starts laughing and then he starts glitching and he's fucking gone.
That is kind of a David Lynch thing. We might
What
have
you
to-
didn't see is when he first got in the stage, his video was just entirely red. It was like
Oh,
it
yeah.
was like what we saw, but like just put red over it. It looked
Yeah, so,
so
we can
weird.
see. Yeah, we can see like everybody when they're backstage, and we let them in.
Right.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
So he
So
was,
Kevin,
All right, Kevin. What was your least favorite thing?
Mine was actually very similar to Eddie's. Is this the backstory between him and his ex-wife and why he's in the position? Somehow I just need some sort of dots connected to like why is he in a separate apartment with a mistress, and why is his wife so pissed off at him? Like where did that go? I don't know how they would connect that
Yeah.
and make it work, but something was missing, and
I mean,
I'm not a,
if you use
I'm just
context
a movie
clues,
goer, not a movie
he-
maker, so.
he seems like a big piece of shit.
Yeah. Like,
Also true.
Yeah, but what's the thing that made it get to
Yeah,
that
I get what you're
Yeah.
saying.
regardless, okay, but she still got married and had kids with him in the first place.
Exactly.
So he
Right.
something must have had some sort of quality to himself.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I
I just think if they
agree.
somehow, I just think it would have made her feel more like it would have made the relationship feel a little bit more high stakes. Even if it's if they're
Yeah.
never going to get together, that's not the problem. The problem is that it feels slightly artificial, just like
Agreed.
slightly, not like a whole. Like honestly, I'm just saying this because this is like my literally only problem with the whole movie is the thing with, and it's not a huge thing. It's just there's something slightly artificial, just slightly.
Yeah, agreed. I absolutely agree. Eric, what about you?
Oh boy, I have so many fucking things. First of all, he's a gigantic piece of shit. Second of all, I was so stressed during this movie that
Yeah.
I could not enjoy it. Not that I would enjoy it because, oh my God, his life is just, he's addicted to gambling and he tries to get more money. But the fact that he took Kevin Garnett's ring and then straight went to pawn it, like, that is so stressful. And
Yeah,
by
it's
the
not
end
a
of the
stress
movie,
guy.
not a big stress guy at all. By the end of the movie, I had to take like multiple breaks just to like kind of like reset myself because I felt like my physical being like hunched over and like clenched.
It's
So
intense.
I will say that my least favorite part was the stress that it caused me.
Yeah, I knew that was
pressure went
coming.
up.
Stressful. It's a scary movie. Like I would say, this
It
is a
is.
scary movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you explain that,
When you
Go ahead.
when Eddie asked what it's about, it's about a fucking gambling addict who's just trying to get back on track, but the only way he knows how to do that is through gambling, and he fucks everyone over to do it.
Everyone. It's wild. And that's why at the end the guy's looking for the Michael Jackson painting. You had those low grade hairy guys. I mean, you have everybody after him by the end of the movie.
The watch that he let the other dudes have of Damani's. Yeah. Oh my God!
Is after him by the end.
And you're so mad. And the thing that's so frustrating is it's like he brings it all upon himself. I mean, that was
100%.
shocking when he went to pawn KG's ring. I was thinking to myself, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah,
My wife was yelling at the TV. My wife's like, "What are you? No, you are an asshole! Don't!" She about walked out of the room because she was pissed off at him.
When he got he had Kevin Garnett had $170 or $65 in a bag in front of him.
Yeah,
and he could
goes and gambles it.
He could have taken that and paid off everything, and then just been like, fine, like start from zero. I'm assuming that he could, but no,
that's the one thing we didn't know how much he actually owed, which is fine.
He didn't do that, and dear God,
just ruined his life. Yeah, I mean, I'll piggyback a little bit. I mean, I like stressful movies, and that's all good with
I
me.
know that, like, this movie is just not for me, and I get that. But least favorite thing, that's it.
Nice.
Like I said, it's not a universal movie. It's not a universal movie.
No, I agree. And so mine is kind of that, is just, I think that the intensity never lets down. I mean, there's not a single point where you can take a breath. And I think sometimes maybe letting the audience relax, and like even when he's watching a basketball game, it feels, I mean, he's gambling on it. So it's like normally when we're watching a movie and the guy's sitting on the couch drinking a beer watching a game, you're like, all right, I can breathe. And then it picks back up. This is like he's screaming at the TV because he's trying to win 100 G's or $1 million. Like something's going on.
Even
so like
in the closet with the girl, like even in that like that, you're like,
I was so on edge.
Oh my!
Like, what's he gonna do?
Even that's like
and it's supposed to be hot and sexy, and you're like, what the fuck's gonna happen here?
I had to fast forward through that scene also. When he's in the closet, because I was like, this is fucking weird.
That's hilarious. I just think that maybe like one or two breaths in the movie would have been cool. There's not a scene, in my opinion. It's crazy.
Matt, the only thing that I can think of that I kind of got like a relief from is when he got the opal back in his hand.
Oh, that fair.
Was
right before he.
That was kind of a relief. But then he had his oh my God, he had tried to inflate the value in the auction, and that backfired because he's a fucking idiot.
Well, that was an amazing scene.
Oh,
it's
God.
So good. It is so good.
Is that like, who's that, like his uncle or like?
I think.
I think it's his uncle or his.
That was great.
Dad,
like you,
right?
I think it was his
knew
father-in-law.
that he was probably going to get fucked. That guy. You knew he. Oh, that was.
That's it. Yeah, it's father-in-law. I think you're right.
Yeah.
But he was ready to
Push
go
up to
up, and the
190,
woman
and
whispers
KG
something in his
didn't go.
ear. Remember?
Yeah,
KG,
what did she say?
He was ready to go up, and like his girlfriend, whoever that is, whispers
his
something in his
agent or
ear, and he's
something.
thinking. See, that's another great subtle moment of his good acting.
Agreed. Yeah,
It's
agreed.
Kind of like that moment where like he's thinking to himself, he's like, it's not worth it. And then the other, you know, the poor was sitting there like just freaking out, you know, that now he has to.
Yeah, it's not over the top. It's not forced like LeBron stuff. Like it's just real. I agree. All right, next category.
Yeah.
Who won the movie? These pictures, I'm sure, are hilarious to you. Let's go to Kevin on this one. Kevin, you want to start?
We won the movie. Because
All right.
I'm not sure what I anticipated when I was watching this for the first time, but it wasn't what I anticipated. But that being said, I love this movie, and it's probably one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies, and I'd actually watch it again. So I think we did as watchers.
Nice.
But
I
if I
agree.
go actually in the movie, I put I'd say Phil won because he finally killed Howard after wanting to do it throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Good point.
He did, just from the beginning. He wanted
That's
to kill him.
hilarious. Wow, good answer. Eric, what about you?
I said like no one. I don't think anyone won the movie. Maybe the girl with the $1 million, but then
That's
she
fair.
loved him so much she got his fucking name tattooed on her ass. Like
Fair.
she didn't really win because he shot in the face.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
she.
that was weird. Her getting
I'm
that
assuming
tattoo.
that I'm assuming she kept the money, but I have no idea. So
That's
I said no
hilarious.
one.
That's hilarious. So that's kind of how that works, Eddie. So it's open to interpretation, but
Right.
usually we're more literal with the answer. But Kevin also said we, and I agree. This is one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies too.
It really is.
So who won the movie for you, Eddie?
I think there's two. You could say the argument that no one won, because that's I think the most literal answer is that no one won. I do think this might sound crazy, but I think, just hear me out, you can sort of make the argument that in a way Adam Sandler won. And the only reason I'd say that is in the sense of he's sort of, it's a dark thought, but he's sort of put out of his misery in the
Yeah.
sense, I mean, is it,
Fair.
you have to one, the thing that's so dark about this movie, it really makes you think, is it better to be dead or is it better to live this life where, like Eric said, or you said, there's not a moment
Yeah.
in this movie where the stress, and that's his life. Every waking second
Fair.
is, no, actually, no. There's one moment in the movie where there's not complete stress. The colonoscopy scene at the beginning.
Yeah, that's
Think about
fair.
it.
Yeah.
This guy's life is
Yeah.
so horrible. And I think that kind of makes
Yep.
sense. It's kind of brilliant. His most relaxing moment is getting a fucking colonoscopy. It's true.
That's really
Yeah.
funny.
So it's like
That's true.
the rest of his life is it's a nightmare of
Yeah.
terror. Wherever he goes in the street, someone's gonna fucking grab him and say that he owes it, and everyone's mad at him. Every single person comes into contact is mad at him and
Yeah.
can't stand him and is
Yeah.
yelling at him and yelling and blah, blah. So it's that, or it's not even being able to breathe.
So, bigger picture, I said Adam Sandler won the movie. Now, as we'll get into later on, he didn't get an Oscar accolade, but who cares? In my opinion, he finally made the movie that he probably wanted to make. It's dark and funny. There's a lot of yelling. There's a lot of Jewish culture. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of basketball, all rolled into one, which is
Yeah.
like his day in the park, Like, that is Adam Sandler's, what he would want to do. So I think he finally got to do that. And
Yeah.
again, it's one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies. It's one of most people who've seen it who like get that or want to see that. And then from a movie standpoint, I guess if I had to pick, it's probably the girl because she got the money.
That's true.
But
Oh.
at the same time, I guess like she doesn't know he got shot. So she's gonna go back to him, and then who knows? So I don't know how that ends, but at least she had the money at one point. Hopefully she bought a nice dinner.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And I would say the kids, just because their dad's like not an asshole anymore. Like maybe it's the wife could say that because
Yeah, the wife might have won.
Him, maybe,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like because they didn't show us that glimpse, we never got to feel that like she did care that he was around. Like she seriously didn't seem to care. So maybe they all got relief out of it. I don't know, but I like the answer of maybe he won because you're right. That life, I don't want that. That's too miserable. That's too
Yeah.
intense. And he just, he was addicted to gambling and money, just
Yeah.
from a broader sense. All right, so we got 3 left. We got favorite line from the movie. Some of these animations are hilarious, right?
Yeah.
Eric, what's your favorite line?
I'm so sorry, but I didn't have one. I can't.
That's all right.
I couldn't even remember anything. I'm gonna say fuck. That's my favorite line from the movie.
I can picture
Fuck.
this guy like really losing it watching this movie. I could just, now that like I'm getting to know you, I can picture you
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like practically shitting your pants throughout this movie. Just
that sounds about right.
Yeah, I was like, I just had this ball of stress in my chest that I was like, oh my God. I texted the group chat. I was like, I'm 24 minutes into this movie and I don't know if I've ever been this stressed.
It gets worse.
Yeah,
It does. It's not.
So my wife started watching it, and then she went to like feed the dogs dinner, and she heard it in the background, and she couldn't take it either. So she looked it up while I was watching it.
Oh, so
she knew what happened because she couldn't take like actually watching it.
She didn't
That's
spoil it though
wild.
for you, did she?
No, she didn't.
Okay.
No, that's wild.
Wow.
I
So
watched this last night at like 1 a.m. when everybody else was asleep in my
Yes.
house.
Wait, so you guys just all watched this recently?
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen this. I saw this right when it came out. So I loved it when I saw it. So I kind of knew, and I was like, oh man, knowing Eric. So we've all been friends. Part of this podcast we started because we started doing this. Well, we've been friends since middle school.
Wow.
And we're in our 30s now, so over 20 years of being friends. And so we wanted to start something
That's moment of silence for that. That's really amazing.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
serious.
thanks.
That's to keep not just keep a friendship for that many years, but to be able to do like important things like this, like to bring people joy, to entertain people. It's
That's what.
and
we're
also
going
it's not
for,
like
sure.
look, I'm only 21 and I'm already experiencing so much stress. So it's like being 30, it's not easy, but to still balance it out and do like my tip my hat to you guys. It's not an easy thing. It's out
No, I
there.
appreciate it. Yeah, thanks. No, really appreciate it. So
I appreciate it.
actually, we've known each other longer than you were alive. That's crazy right now. That's a weird thought.
Isn't that crazy? But that's really wow.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I've
so
known Eric
we.
for 31 years now, 32 almost.
That's wild. Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't that crazy? So yeah, we wanted to start something. So we grew up watching movies like most kids. Grew up in a friend's basements, hanging out, watching movies, movie posters on the ceiling, like doing that kind of thing. So like years later, we're like, what can we do where we can all get together and bullshit and maybe come up with a theme, like we have the questions and so we just have been doing this now for over a year, and so. Yeah, just a little fun fact about us. So I've known Eric that long, and so when I knew when we were going to watch this movie, I had a feeling Eric's going to be stressed.
Yeah. Eric maybe like 7-8 years ago would have fucking loved this. But Eric now, no.
Yeah,
You're past. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's fair.
So my favorite line was fuck.
yeah.
What was yours, Matt?
That's hilarious. They say you can see the whole universe in opals.
That's the thing. They say you can see the whole universe in opal.
And I also love that scene because it's when KG's looking at the opal, and it's kind of like a pseudo highlight reel, also a look into his past life, and he basically sees his whole life flash in front of him, right? And I just think that's such a rewatchable, it's a self-satisfying scene. Maybe that's a scene where I'm not on the edge of my seat. And so that line, though, is kind of representing the whole movie. They say you can see the whole universe in opals. So I thought that was a cool line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eddie, did you have any lines?
Yeah, it's a short line and it's kind of specific. Like I don't think a lot of people have this, but it's just when they're this is right before the scene where he gets thrown into. I think it's before the scene where he gets thrown into the fountain. But Howard's walking down the street and he sees Phil and Arno and this other guy, and he takes out a phone and he's like, yeah, and he's like, I'm getting it to you. And like he sees them, and he's like, one moment, I'm getting it to you tomorrow, blah blah blah. And then as he's talking. There's just little moments, just really. And Arno takes the phone and he, hello, and looks down at the phone. This is a line. He looks at me and he goes, "There's no one on the fucking phone." And he just, the way he says it,
Yeah,
because he's just so sick and tired of it, and like it's so. I love how like just the whole dynamic of him faking a phone call.
Yeah,
that wouldn't have surprised me if that was Adam Sandler's idea to improv that. Like I don't know, but I would not be. That just feels like an Adam Sandler thing to do. Like I'm just gonna fake a phone call that he's like, oh, there's no one on the fucking phone. It's just I love
awesome.
that. I love that line. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
nice. That is a good line. Kevin, what about you?
I might be on a delay, guys, so I'm sorry if it's all good.
No, you're pretty good right now.
Actually, now you were earlier, but I think you're fine now.
But I got to just go with the funny one. It's right after Adam Sandler looks into the Opal for the first time. And while his employees are yelling at him, he's just not even paying attention. And he looks up, he goes, "Holy shit, I'm going to come."
That's such a funny line.
Yeah.
But it feels like he's being pleasured as he says that.
Yeah.
I agree.
"Oh, I'm gonna call it."
He really believes it.
Yeah, he's a crazy guy.
All right, 2 categories. So kind of our theme is the movie podium. And so we like to rank things a little bit. There's the sports background. So in this first one, we ask, is this a podium role or one of the best 3 films, right, for any of the top billed cast members? And
1,000%.
yeah, exactly. So in this case, we really only have 2 main actors or actresses. Everybody else, I would say yes anyway. It's not even a conversation. But for top build, we usually just talk about obviously the top build. So we ask Adam Sandler, and I agree, right? 100%.
Yeah.
I actually put no. I think it is one of my favorite movies, but when I think of Adam Sandler in roles, this isn't a role I think of him. Like, he's not going to go down as this is what I think of when Adam Sandler.
Can you think of 3 Adam Sandler roles that are better than this?
Yeah, I disagree
It's
in a
kind
way.
of it's hard to put it for a personal. It's more of just what I would remember Adam Sandler for.
So I think it's
so like I got to put him in the classics. I do think it's probably one of his best movies, but it's not one I'm going to be like,
interesting.
You think of
when I think of Adam Sandler.
You don't think of this. You think of Happy Gilmore.
I put Billy Madison, The Waterboy, and Happy Gilmore.
So I agree to an extent. So the thing for me and why I would say yes is because I think of those roles, and I do think those roles have a place. But I think, to me, they're all rolled up into one. They're almost the same role. And I think they're great, and I do think they're funny.
Yeah.
But I do think, I can't put all 3 of those in the same podium because I think this role is so unique that when I look back at his resume, this one's going to stick out. Like, Happy Gilmore and Adam and Billy Madison stick out together as one role. And I know that's not literally what it is. I know they're different characters. But to me, those are all the same role or similar enough to where I think that is a place on there. But to me, it's one place. And then maybe it's this, and then I don't know. I mean, it could be Wedding Singer or something maybe similar but different. I don't know. But to me, I think this is because when I look back, this one really is going to stick out when he's 7 years old. And you're like, damn, remember that time where he was crazy and fucked up and dark and like everything that he's not in Happy Gilmore taking a driver and hitting balls off a Subway sub. Like,
Wasn't it just like a space movie on Netflix?
Yeah, he was.
What was
I
that
haven't
called?
seen it. Oh man, what is that called? I haven't seen it.
I'm not
And
sure.
it's supposed to be serious. Like he's supposed to like hallucinate or talk to like some. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I can't remember what it's called yet.
Now that might not. I have a feeling that might not work. I don't know.
No, I don't
Uncut
think it
Gems
stuck.
works for him. It works for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, like if you put Adam Sandler and like speaking of space movies, like I put this up earlier, but it's like if you recast Matthew McConaughey and put Adam Sandler in his place for Interstellar, it would not work. Like people would be like,
agreed.
The scene when he's leaving Merck, people would be laughing. People would not take it seriously.
And that's how we kind of address this as well, right? Like, who are people you can't replace in those roles? It's kind of one way we look at that as well.
I initially said no, but Matt just convinced me to say yes because I like the fact that the podium would showcase like his whole, like all of the aspects of his career and not just three characters that I like. Necessarily.
That's exactly it. Because like obviously Billy Madison. I mean, when we we were like, what, 8 when that came out or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
that movie hits so hard for us because it resonates. We were kids, and that was our time period, being goofy and silly, and like that stuff hits, and that should be on our podium. But this, in a different way, should be on there too. So I think it is. Click, yeah.
Oh,
Can't.
That
not much
movie
of a
is
fan of
like.
that one.
See, that's not a good movie, but I rewatched it a couple years ago. That movie is really crazy.
It is crazy,
Like,
and he's actually
comedy.
not bad in it.
No, I was explaining this to someone, but I think in a weird way, the closest, now granted, this is not a good movie, the closest to an Adam Sandler Uncut Gems type thing, I would say is Click.
Yeah,
Because
I agree 100%.
Click, so I'm just trying to remember. I remember at the end, he like time travels
Yeah.
tons of
TV.
years into and I just remember he's like this. Well, at one point he's this like this obese. Remember, he's like 1,000 pounds, and he's in this weird futuristic apartment. But I don't know if it's before or after that. I think it's like he's a little older and he goes to visit his daughter.
Yep.
He starts going really crazy, and that whole scene in the movie. And there's this epic. It's
loses
a
it.
comedy movie, but there's this really scene that was kind of disturbing, where he's like outside the hospital. Do you remember he's running in the rain? He's crying.
Yep, he's
There's
crying.
something like-
That's what it sticks out to me too.
I remember when I first watched the movie, I remember thinking to myself, like this shouldn't be this upsetting. Like, this is a comedy.
It's a goofy ass movie,
There was
right?
something really, I don't know what it was, but there was something that really disturbed me about that scene. But I
Same.
realized, that's when I realized Adam Sandler, he has something. He's not just he has something.
He's not
Yeah.
the one-trick pony.
Exactly.
I completely agree, and I remember hating that movie.
Yeah,
But at
it's
the
not a
same
good
time,
movie, yeah.
I remember him pulling out emotions out of you in a movie that I shouldn't give a shit about. So like I completely agree. That him crying is what I remember, and it's been 20 years or however long I haven't seen it since it came out. So
Yeah, I can't remember much from
I
that
still
movie.
remember that though. That's crazy you say that. It's exactly what I remember. The other actress that I wanted to mention, just because I mean she's kind of high profile nowadays, but Idina Menzel.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously mostly well known for her role as Elphaba in Wicked, which is on Broadway. We usually leave out the Broadways and the TVs, and we just talk about movies.
It's called the Movie Podium, Matt.
Exactly, right? The Movie Podium. So she's obviously Elsa in Frozen and Rent, which can't say I'm a fan of, but that's one of her biggest roles.
Yeah.
And then probably this.
I'll say yes. I agree with you, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put yes
looked at
across
it,
the
I was like,
board for
I haven't
everybody
Yeah,
else.
seen
I don't
everybody.
the movies to judge. I'd have to see more of her movies. 'Cause I've really only seen Frozen. That's like the only other.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
have to guess. Yeah, but I can't give an answer yet until I see.
Yeah,
like,
it's
something
not a
like
great
that.
list.
See,
Yeah.
that's
It's
why I
like-
think I wish that they explored the wife a little bit more.
I know,
That's why-
yeah, and I think she's good. I think
Because the thing about her character, she wasn't that shallow. She was she seemed a tiny bit crazy too. I mean, you have to also keep in mind anyone that's going to marry him
exactly.
has to be a little bit off, right?
Yeah,
little.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, you got to know that.
Yeah.
All right,
like,
last-
come on.
Last
Yeah.
question. So our final one is a podium question as well. This time we ask, does Adam Sandler not getting nominated for an Oscar make the podium for all-time Oscar snubs? That's a reveal. I didn't see that video before.
I just made that.
Nice.
Quick draw McGraw.
Out of your ass? Damn, nice.
Bang bang.
That's cool.
I mean, before we recorded.
Yeah.
I didn't
well,
make
right.
it while we were talking.
But in the last hour. That's sweet.
Yes.
Nice. All right. Kevin, you want to go first?
For my first snub, I actually put Daniel Craig in Skyfall in 2013 Oscars.
Of course you would. So if you
The
could
movie
tell,
actually was nominated for Best Cinematography, but it didn't win. Daniel Day-Lewis won for Best Actor in Lincoln. The other nominees were Bradley Cooper in Silver Linings Playbook, Hugh Jackman in Les Miserables, Joaquin Phoenix in The Master, and then Denzel Washington in Flight. But I think he could probably switch him out with Denzel.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That is the least surprising thing you've ever said to me.
So Eddie, his background is Bond. It might be hard to make out, but now it's all Bond, of course. Now it all makes
that one's
sense.
Roger Moore. There's Timothy Dalton. There's Pierce Brosnan.
Timothy Dalton is the
Sean
one that was in like
Connery.
one of them, right?
Yeah,
He was in 2.
two. Yeah.
Why is that exactly?
Yeah, why wasn't he only in 2?
Oh, I'm just a big Bond fan.
No, why was he in 2?
There was a break between those Timothy Dalton and Brosnan movies because there was something with Albert Broccoli
that's right.
giving up rights to his daughter.
Right.
So it was, the people that own Bond rights. Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyways, my number 2 is Edward Norton in Fight Club. Maybe 2,000 Oscars.
Okay.
Which that movie was also nominated for Best Effects, but it didn't win. But Kevin Spacey won Best Actor that year in American Beauty, which actually I agree. I think he does deserve that. But the nominees were Russell Crowe in The Insider, Richard Farnsworth in The Straight Story. I'm really not familiar with that movie. Sean Penn in Sweet and Lowdown, and then Denzel Washington again in The Hurricane. But I think you could take out that Richard Farnsworth. And like I said, I haven't seen Straight Story, but you could switch out Edward Norton in Fight Club for Richard Farnsworth.
Sure.
And then, what do we got? Robin Williams, Patch Adams, 1999 Oscars.
Oh,
Nice.
And
nice.
yeah, this movie actually did have another nomination, but didn't win for Best Music or Original Musical or Comedy Score. I'm probably going to mispronounce this name because I'm not familiar with the actor or the movie, but who won. It's Roberto Benigni, won for his role in Life is Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other nominees were Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan, Ian McKellen in Gods and Monsters, Nick Nolte in Affliction, and then Edward Norton in American History X. So I think you could take out Ian McKellen. I think he is a great actor, but that movie fucking sucks. Gods and Monsters.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Nice.
That's a good
All
list.
right. Nice. All right.
You did a lot of research on that one. Okay,
I forgot.
Oh, no.
I added on. Oh, actually, I
did
have
some
another one
research,
that
too.
same year for a snub, and it's Jim
Okay.
Carrey in The Truman Show.
He didn't
That
win.
movie was
He didn't even get
actually
nominated.
nominated for 3 different Oscars.
Whoa.
He didn't get nominated. None of these actors were nominated, let alone one.
Right.
And I think you could take out the Ian McKellen, and I think you'd also take out Nick Nolte in Affliction, and you could put Robin Williams and Patch Adams and Jim Carrey for The Truman Show in that for the nominees.
Wow.
Okay.
Nice. I did some research too, Eric. I have
Yeah.
some,
So let's
that's okay.
let's go to me, who is far less researched. Julie helped me with this, and she said that these ones have not won an Oscar. So number 3, so the answer is no. Number 3, we just watched them, and I really, really loved them. Daisy Ridley playing Rey in the new Star Wars movies.
Nice.
She's so good in that.
She is good.
Yeah.
And
Eric's going
and then-
that way. Eric's going that way.
Yep. And then Harrison Ford hasn't won an Oscar before
Wow.
for anything.
For anything.
For anything, apparently. So that seems
Crazy.
bad.
Yeah.
That's kind of surprising.
Yeah.
It is surprising.
And then even more surprising to me is that Ian McKellen has never won an Oscar for anything,
Kevin
including
wants to dump
fucking
on him.
Gandalf. He's Gandalf. And that just doesn't make any sense to me.
And he's a good actor too.
Yeah. Oh, he's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's Magneto.
Yeah, he's awesome. And Kevin wanted to
He
dump
has
on
been
him, too.
nominated.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my list.
Nice. Nice.
Wow.
Eddie?
That's a
We
full.
got
Oh God, it's hard. I don't know. I know he was won an Oscar now, but I can't believe Hans Zimmer won an Oscar for Dune. Dude,
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
what about Interstellar, Inception,
Oh,
Dark Knight?
no.
What?
Yeah.
Dude?
Oh, he's so good. Yep.
Like,
That is wild.
I'm not a fan of Dune. It's okay.
I agree. The fact that Christopher Nolan had never won Best Director before Oppenheimer, geez, that
I
just goes to
know.
show it's like, what
Yeah.
he has to make a political movie to win because
Yep.
the sci-fi films don't win at the it's that's just always the way it's been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Notice how it's like he's making these films. He's like, oh, I'll just make a film about the topic bomb. Bam! In 7-8 Oscars. It's like it's
I
like
know.
Yeah.
All right. Ready for mine?
Yeah, Matt, what about you?
Okay.
Mr. Film. He's going to have all the
host.
all the important ones.
Well, so
Can't talk
yeah,
about mine.
I kind of did write down ones. I do kind of have a list outside of my list. I left out anything that I just included actors or actresses that were not nominated. So I didn't include anything like one of my favorite performances of Bill Murray not getting the Oscar in Lost in Translation. I kept that out of this. But I did want to mention. So other honorable
Kept it out of
mentions-
it, but you know it now. That's on one of my lists.
Yeah. Other honorable mentions and crazy ones to think about. Marilyn Monroe and Some Like It Hot. Anthony Perkins in Psycho. Jimmy Stewart in Vertigo. Mia Farrow in Rosemary's Baby. Sissy Spacek in Carrie. There's a trend here. So that leads into my number 3. My number 3 is Toni Collette for her performance in Hereditary. It's chilling. It's mostly
really good.
critically. It's amazing. I mean, she's represents that entire movie from her facial expressions to her acting and how she just it gets more and more intense. Another movie, Eric. I don't know if you've seen it, but probably don't
No.
want to see it.
I think I've watched it once, but I can't remember anything about
Oh
it.
man.
what
And-
Hereditary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Eric,
There
have
are
you seen
things.
Hereditary?
No, I haven't, and I'm pretty sure I don't want to.
Matt, he would if he didn't like Uncut
He would
Gems,
shit himself.
I think he wouldn't be able to do this podcast anymore. I think he'd live in like a shelter. He wouldn't be able to cover. No, this Hereditary movie. I'll say one quick.
Yeah,
It is incredibly disturbing.
it is
And
incredibly
it
disturbing. That's the way I would say.
follows
it.
you for a while. All I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. No, I completely agree. And so my point there was that horror, and you, Eddie, you kind of touched on it, suspense, horror, sci-fi, does not really get a lot of love at the Oscars. So I wanted to mention how good I thought she was in there. Okay, so like Kevin, I wanted to argue my case against who was also nominated in that year. So in 2019, you had Olivia Colman, who won for her role in The Favorite. Get out of here. You had Glenn Close in The Wife. You had Yalitza Avaricious in Roma. You had Lady Gaga in A Star Is Born, and Melissa McCarthy for Can You Ever Forgive Me? Come on, what a weak year. You could have given a nod to Toni Collette in that. My number 2 actually is, I forgot to answer the question. I said yes, Adam Sandler did get or make the podium, and he's my number 2. This is, in my opinion, his best acting job. He's funny, he's serious, he's angry, all those traits, but it's all mashed in one. That year, Joaquin Phoenix won for the Joker. All right, whatever. You can take it or
Really?
leave it, right? Yeah, I know. So Antonio
Joker,
Banderas.
Taxi Driver and Camp Comedy ripoff, in my opinion.
100% agreed. You had Antonio Banderas in Pain and Glory. You had Leo in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You had Adam Driver in Marriage Story and Jonathan Pryce in The Two Popes. I've seen all those movies. No way does Antonio Banderas do a better job than our boy Adam Sandler. And my number 1, okay, so I had to mention one more before I got to my number 1. Al Pacino did not get nominated as Michael Corleone in The Godfather. Not even a nomination. He's in it for over an hour. I mean, he's basically the guy who becomes the guy. Not even nominated. All right, so my personal podium for number 1, though, is Roy Scheider as Brody in Jaws. Now, we watched this, Eddie, over the summer. This is one of our reviewed movies. And, I mean, it just solidifies my love for the movie. And his character is just I just love his acting in it. It's so raw and so good. I think the reason he didn't get a nomination, in my opinion, is because you had Richard Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw were also really strong male characters, and they were, I mean, almost as much of a main character. Now Brody's the first one you see, but they're all so strong that I feel like it kind of took away from how good he is in that.
Yeah.
So that year you had Jack Nicholson winning for One Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest. I'm good with that. You had Al Pacino in Dog Day Afternoon. Hell yeah.
Wait, did he not win for Dog Day Afternoon?
No, it was Jack Nicholson beat him out, and he's so good in Dog Day.
Back then they had like Incredible Movie versus Incredible Movie.
I know.
It's going to be a joke, the Oscars this year.
Yeah, agreed.
Pickle over there. I mean, they've got nothing. It's crazy.
I know. I'm just starting to watch these movies, and I'm not having a good time so far. To be honest,
Do not recommend.
Right.
No.
Strike, so it's like, you know.
Oh, for sure. So you had Walter Matthau that year in Sunshine Boys. Okay, he's a great actor. But then you have Maximilian Schell in The Man in the Glass Booth, and James Whitmore and Give Them Hell, Harry. Oh, come on. Roy Scheider, he ended up getting an Oscar nomination, I think like the next year or 2 years after that and all that jazz. But this year, he got robbed. Jaws, all day. One of my favorite movies of all time.
It makes sense. Think about it. The Academy, like, look at the subject matter in Jaws. Like, they're not going to... It's just not a movie that... You know what I mean?
Popcorn blockbuster. Oh, yeah, I know. But they don't get it. It's unfortunate.
It can't do anything, yeah.
So, and again, another sci-fi, horror. I mean, they're all around there. So, all right. Well, that concludes our podcast. Eddie, thanks for having us on. Or thanks for us having you on.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. And we gotta give you some plugs on this too.
Yeah, where can people check you out?
Yeah, where can people check you out?
You can check me out on my I have 2 Instagrams. My main Instagram is Eddie B. Yellin. B is not my middle name. It's a fake. It's edie.be.yellin, or Yellin Films is my it's an independent production company, like an LLC. But that's more of like a, I guess, professional. I mean, I really use both accounts to market film stuff, but I guess my main is, the Eddie B. Yellin.
Sweet. Awesome. And that's kind of like YELLIN.
Yeah, like Yellin without the G, and then my YouTube channel is in there.
Yeah,
awesome.
Sweet.
And yeah, for those listening, go check his stuff out. The reason we brought him on is, I mean, we've been seeing his stuff for over a year now, and it really has blown us away. We love. I can see the Nolan feels and the inspiration. When you picked Uncut Gems, it totally made sense. His short Pickle is incredible, and the dialogue I can tell is similar to Uncut Gems. I love it. There's some shock. I love the shock factors in Pickle. Not to spoil it, but there's some pretty good shock or twists that I love, and it's intense. And yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you
guys so much for having me. This is really fun.
Bye, everybody.